Okay, so you want to buy a super yacht, float through Monaco, anchor off Capri, watch the sunset from a deck the size of a tennis court. Sounds simple enough. Here's the strange part. A super yacht is the only luxury asset on Earth that comes with its own full-time staff, its own fuel bill bigger than a private jet, its own set of international maritime laws, and a depreciation schedule that would make your accountant cry into a glass of very expensive wine. And somehow, despite all that, the super yacht market just hit $15.8 billion in 2025. Sales of pre-owned super yachts alone were up 36% year over year. Billionaires are not just buying these things, they're buying more of them. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what a super yacht actually costs to own, not just to buy, but to run every single day, why the charter market is both a lifeline and a trap, and why the smartest people on Earth keep buying assets that lose 6 figures a month before they've even left the dock. Super yachts come in 3 sizes, and they are 3 completely different financial commitments. The entry level is anything between 24 and 40 meters. These are what the industry politely calls super yachts, though anyone who actually owns one will tell you it just means a very large boat. Price tag: $2 million to $10 million. You get a crew of 4 or 5, a modest aft deck, and just enough space to feel special, but not enough to feel truly isolated from your guests. Think of it as the regional casino of the sea. Useful, profitable, if managed well, and deeply unsexy. The mid-range, 40 to 70 meters, is where serious money starts. Price: $10 million to $80 million. You're looking at proper staterooms, a full interior design budget, water toys, a helipad on the newer builds, and a crew roster that starts to resemble a small hotel. The Bulgari of yachts. Big enough to mean something, not big enough to be truly absurd. And then there's the top tier, anything over 70 meters. Up here, the price tag starts at $80 million and has no ceiling worth quoting. Jeff Bezos paid around $500 million for Kourou, currently the world's largest sailing yacht at 127 meters. The Azam, 180 meters, built for Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, cost $575 million. There is a yacht currently in design called Streets of Monaco, planned at 155 meters, projected at $960 million, and will include a go-kart track, a casino, and a replica of the Monte Carlo Casino Terrace. Which does raise the question of what you do when you want to go to Monaco and you've already brought Monaco with you. But the sticker price is almost beside the point. There are 2 costs nobody warns you about when you write that first check. The first is flagging and registration. You don't just buy a super yacht and sail it. You register it under a flag state, typically the Cayman Islands, Marshall Islands, or Malta, each with their own legal structure, tax implications, and inspection regimes. Most serious owners set up a separate offshore holding company just to own the boat, which means lawyers, accountants, and annual compliance costs before you've filled the fuel tank once. The second is the shipyard waitlist. The world's most prestigious builders, Lürssen in Germany, Feedship in the Netherlands, Oak & Co in Rotterdam, are booked out years in advance. Lürssen, which built the 156-meter Dilbar and the Flying Fox, operates at near full capacity through 2028. Order a bespoke build today, and you'll be waiting 3 to 5 years for delivery. The Feedship that Mark Zuckerberg took delivery of in 2024, his first super yacht, Project 1010 named Launchpad, was in the pipeline for years before he ever stepped aboard. Time is a cost too. Now we get to the question that actually matters. What does it cost to own one of these things when you're not on it? The industry has a rule of thumb that sounds simple until you do the math. Budget 10 to 15% of the purchase price every single year, just to keep the yacht operational. Not to enjoy it, just to maintain it. On a $50 million yacht, that's $5 to $7.5 million a year. On a $100 million yacht, you're burning $10 to $15 million annually before you've invited a single guest. A former US Superyacht Association director broke it down for a mid-size vessel: roughly $1 million for maintenance and repairs, $350,000 for dockage, $240,000 for insurance, $400,000 for fuel, and $1.4 million for crew. That's $3.4 million a year, and that's considered lean. Let's go line by line. Crew. This is the biggest single cost, and it scales brutally with size. A 50-meter yacht needs 10 to 12 crew. A 70-meter needs 20 or more. The largest builds, 100 meters and up, run 25 to 80 crew, with specialist roles that include helicopter pilots, dive instructors, spa therapists, sommeliers, children's tutors, and a dedicated doctor. Captains on the largest yachts earn $18,000 to $25,000 per month. The head chef earns $8,000 to $12,000. Even an entry-level deckhand takes home $2,500 to $3,500, plus full accommodation, meals, and crew rotation flights every 2 to 4 weeks. Total annual crew bill for a serious 60-meter yacht, $1.5 to $4 million, and that's before tips. Charter guests on the top yachts traditionally tip 10% of the weekly charter fee. On a yacht chartering at $500,000 a week, that's a $50,000 tip, distributed across the crew. The staff are, in some cases, being compensated better than the guests imagined. Fuel. A large motor yacht running at cruising speed consumes 500 to 1,500 gallons per hour. Not per day, per hour, running across the Mediterranean, say Nice to Ibiza, at a modest 16 knots will cost you $20,000 to $60,000 in fuel for a single crossing. Annual fuel bills for a heavily used superyacht regularly exceed $1 million, and marine diesel on the Côte d'Azur in 2025 runs 1.70 to 2.10 per litre. Monaco is the most prestigious marina in the world and also, predictably, the most expensive place to fill a tank. Marina fees. Speaking of Monaco, a berth at Port Hercule, the harbour right below the casino where the Formula One street circuit runs 3 feet from the water, does not come cheap. Premium marinas across Monaco, Saint-Tropez and Ibiza charge $3,000 to $10,000 per night during peak season. Annual contracts at a top-tier marina can exceed $500,000. During the Monaco Grand Prix, owners report docking fees of $20,000 per day. And that's if you can get a berth at all. The most sought-after spots are allocated years in advance by relationships, not money, which means money is the minimum requirement, not the deciding factor. Insurance. Typically 0.5 to 1% of the hull value annually on a $100 million yacht. That's $500,000 to $1 million per year in a normal year. Travel to a high-risk region, say the Red Sea in 2024, or anywhere near the Strait of Hormuz during a geopolitical event, and war risk premiums can triple or quadruple overnight. The insurance market for superyachts noticed what happened when Western governments seized 20 Russian-owned vessels worth over $2 billion. The US government is now spending more than $7 million annually just to maintain the seized superyacht Amadea, a boat it cannot legally sell. The US National Security Advisor was caught on an open microphone saying, "You know what the craziest thing is? When we seize one, we have to pay for upkeep." Insurance companies noticed. Refit. Every 5 to 7 years, a serious superyacht needs a full overhaul. Hull work, engine rebuilds, interior refurbishment, navigation systems, paint. A full refit on a major vessel runs $3 million to $20 million. The Alfa Nero, a 82-meter ocean co, was sanctioned, sat idle for 2 years, and sold privately for $40 million in mid-2024. It had been worth $120 million. 2 years of zero maintenance plus political uncertainty cost the owner more than the yacht itself. Put it all together. A well-run 60-meter superyacht burns through $3 million to $6 million a year just to exist. Fully crewed, fueled, insured, docked and maintained. Not moving, not entertaining guests, just floating. Now, the obvious question, can you make any of this back? The charter market exists precisely because the numbers above are insane, and even the richest people on Earth occasionally notice. The principle is simple. When you're not using the yacht, someone else pays to use it, and those fees offset your running costs. Current rates for top-tier superyachts sit at $500,000 to $1.5 million per week. The Flying Fox, Lurson's 136-meter masterpiece, returned to charter in 2024 after sanctions were lifted, listing at $3.2 million per week. Steven Spielberg's Seven Seas, an 86-meter ocean co, charters at over $1 million per week. At those rates, a yacht in charter for just 6 weeks a year generates $3 to $6 million in gross revenue, enough to cover most or all of the annual running costs. Sounds like a clean trade. Here's why it isn't. First, the management cut. A professional charter management company, Burgess, Northrop & Johnson, Fraser, typically takes 20 to 30% of charter revenue as their fee. They handle bookings, cruise scheduling, provisioning, and the paperwork no owner ever wants to deal with. Off the top, before costs. Second, the compliance cost. To legally charter a yacht commercially, it must be certified under the Large Yacht Code or its equivalent, which requires specific crew certifications, additional safety equipment, enhanced insurance, flag state commercial endorsements, and annual inspections. The conversion cost from private to charter ready is $200,000 to $500,000. The ongoing compliance cost is 6 figures a year. Third, and most importantly, chartering destroys the yacht's private feel. Guests you've never met are sleeping in your staterooms, using your jet skis, and leaving their personal preferences permanently documented in your provision logs. Some owners draw a hard line, never charter, full stop. Others charter heavily for 5 years to offset the acquisition cost, then pull the yacht back to private. The ones who do it right treat chartering as a business from day one. Separate legal structure, professional management, no personal sentiment. The math, if you get it right, charter for 15 to 20 weeks a year at $500,000 per week, minus management fees and operating costs during those weeks, and you can offset 40 to 60% of your annual running costs. Charter for 30 weeks, and you can, in theory, break even. In theory. With all this floating luxury, guaranteed glamour, and a charter market to offset costs, why do superyacht ventures collapse so regularly? 2 mistakes dominate the history of superyacht disasters, and they show up again and again. Mistake 1. Building the wrong yacht. In the superyacht world, unlike real estate, there is no such thing as a standard specification. Every bespoke build is designed around its first owner's exact preferences. The problem comes when you try to sell. A 90-meter yacht custom-built with a 20-person owner's party in mind, underwater observation rooms, a zero-speed stabilization system calibrated for one specific cruising route, and an interior designed by an Italian firm whose style peaked in 2016. That yacht is worth exactly what one buyer on Earth will pay for it, which is usually 40 to 60% of what it costs to build. Superyachts depreciate approximately 10% per year. The largest and most custom builds depreciate fastest, because the pool of buyers capable and interested is measured in the dozens, not the thousands. Mistake 2. Confusing net worth with liquidity. In 2017, Seadrill, John Fredriksen's offshore drilling empire, went bankrupt when oil prices collapsed. Fredriksen, one of the richest men in Norwegian shipping history, had leveraged aggressively, assuming conditions would hold. Superyacht owners make the same mistake at a smaller scale constantly. A billionaire whose wealth is 90% concentrated in a single stock, a single company, or a single real estate portfolio can be worth $2 billion on paper and face an unexpected $8 million annual bill on a yacht they can't quickly charter, can't quickly sell, and can't stop the clock on. Carrying costs don't pause for liquidity events. The bills arrive on the same schedule whether your assets are frozen by a margin call, a sanctions regime, or a market correction. The yacht doesn't care how much you're worth on paper. It needs fuel, crew, and a marina berth in cash every month. Step back for a second. There are currently over 5,000 super yachts over 24 meters sailing the world's oceans. Another 600 are under construction. The global order book for 2026 lists 1,093 active projects worth more than $15 billion combined. Pre-owned superyacht sales hit $6.4 billion in 2025 alone. This is not a niche hobby, this is an industry. Now let's put real numbers to two scenarios. Scenario 1, $10 million, 40 meters, Mediterranean. Annual running costs $1.2 to $1.8 million. Charter the boat for 10 weeks at $60,000 per week, net $420,000 after fees. Net annual cost to you, $800,000 to $1.4 million. Payback? There is no payback. This is a lifestyle asset. You're buying it the same way you buy a ski chalet. For use, not return. If you manage it well, you're spending about $1 million a year for a floating vacation home crewed by professionals and available anywhere in the world with a deep water port. Annoying? Absolutely, but manageable. Scenario 2, $100 million, 70 meters, full build. Annual running costs before charter, $8 to $12 million. Charter the yacht seriously, 20 weeks at $400,000 per week. Gross revenue, $8 million. After 25% management fees and charter operating costs, net $4.5 million, your net annual cost $3.5 to $7.5 million. Payback on the acquisition, approximately never, but if the asset holds value, which the best maintained builds from top yards do, you're not burning money so much as slowly exchanging it for depreciated steel and very good memories. And at the very top of the pyramid, the people who understand this business best don't think about it in terms of cost at all. When Bezos commissioned Kourou for $500 million, his net worth was north of $100 billion. The annual running cost of that yacht, estimated at $40 to $60 million per year, represents less than 0.05% of his wealth. At that level, a super yacht isn't a financial decision. It's the same category as a door handle or a light switch, a detail of a life so large that the costs are invisible. The rest of us, in the meantime, pay $20,000 a night to dock next to it in Monaco and take a photo. So, if you do decide to buy a super yacht, remember the one rule that governs every vessel, every charter, every refit bill, every fuel stop, every crew rotation, and every marina fee from here to Portofino. The sea doesn't care what you paid for it. Make sure you can keep paying.